What is going on, everyone? Happy to be back. Hope you're all having a good summer, or as good of a summer as you possibly can, in light of, yet again, all the horrible things happening in the world. But that doesn't mean, or that doesn't have to mean, that you can't have a good time. Unless, of course, obviously, bad things have been happening, in which case I'm sorry 1,000-fold in every possible language that things are the way they are. But today I wanted to just kind of do a little vent session here about something that has been irritating me since a certain film came out. Hearing this massive, or these massive morons getting mad that Superman is too woke, I'll never stop finding this funny. So, superheroes, since they first appeared, whether it be DC Comics or Marvel, whichever one you want to, throw on the table first, they have always been woke. Always. The entire point of the comic book is to essentially, quote unquote, preach wokeness. So if someone's standing up for the little man and preaching equality and togetherness, not judging people by the color of their skin or judging people based on their class or status, if that bothers you, the issue here is not the comic book. The issue here is not the hero or the story. If you're mad at a story for trying to teach the younger generations to be tolerant of one another and to stand up for what's right and to be the better person, if that bothers you, I got nothing. You're a horrible person. That's what I got there for you. And I'm not apologizing for it. There are no you're not going to find a superhero that is racist. You're not going to find a superhero that, for goodness sakes, you're going to find super villains that are bigots. You're going to find super villains that are obviously the bad guys. But the things here is that even most of the super villains, whether it be Marvel or DC, most of them aren't even like that. There's complex psychological layers to all of these characters. They all represent a different part of the human condition. Someone to protect someone else. That's, this topic drives me insane. It's like Batman, all right? We're going to be talking about Superman, but I'm going to be using Batman as an analogy here, and the reason why I personally have always adored not just DC, but Batman above all in the Batman universe. So, we have an orphan child with, sure, an unlimited amount of wealth. He could have grown up to be the next Lex Luthor. He could have been this evil. He could have been the worst villain in all of Gotham. He could have been so brutal that by the Joker taking him on, the Joker would have looked like the superhero. But the reason why Batman never killed, never turned a blind eye on the city that he was born and raised in is because he simply chooses to be better. You know, if you want to say that's woke, like, it seems like anything in the media or anyone that has a soul, that has empathy, that reminds people what it truly means to be human, they get scoffed at by these sociopaths, by these MAGA followers, by these extreme right-wingers. You know, the right wing challenges what it means to be human. They take the side of greed and power and imperialistic bullshit. They take the side, like, if it's like if Lex Luthor just controlled the United States. That's where we're at right now. So, through a comic book perspective, if you have, like, imagine it if it was just in a superhero story. I mean, it is. It has been. It's the archetype. But you have Lex Luthor controlling the White House, and you have essentially a group of people who would align and identify as or with Superman. And obviously the propaganda is going to demonize Superman. And that is literally what is happening even outside of the screen. Outside of the comic books, right here in the real world, Superman right now, as a film and as a symbol and as the archetype of hope, is demonized for being too woke. Now, in what universe could you sit here and see a Superman story where Superman himself is MAGA? Like, that's fucking Homelander. That's not Superman. These MAGA people are not going to get that story. And the big one here that they need to seriously shake off of themselves, because I'm fucking tired of it, is their obsession with the fucking Punisher. Oh my God, the Punisher hates people like that. The Punisher hates authoritarianism. The Punisher hates control. That's the point. He gets his hands dirty doing the things that, you know, obviously he's both a hero and an anti-hero. Like, it's weird. He's a very complex character, and in many different iterations of his story, he hates copycats. He hates people that wear his brand, that go around and conduct their bigoted vigilante justice. That's not the point of the character. The Punisher is not racist. The Punisher is not homophobic. And quite literally, John Bernthal, who portrays the Punisher currently, is pro-trans people. He's the furthest thing from a bigot. He supports the lesser person. He supports the people that are vulnerable. Because that's what fucking humans are supposed to do. We're supposed to look out for each other. We are all we have. Why spend all of this time that you have here in eternity hating other people that are on the same journey as you are? It's fucked up. Checking the news every day and seeing all of it looks like a fucking war zone half the time, where ICE is showing up and harassing people and kidnapping them and throwing them away like garbage. Fuck you. And fuck you for supporting it. I can't anymore. You want to go around and say that fucking superheroes are too woke. Where the hell have you been? Where the hell did you grow up? Have you even read a comic book, or are you just throwing up everything you read from your goddamn right-wing media? These people are so fucking detached from the world. It's insane. Did you now have a cultist, or like, you have a cult of people worshiping a dude who deflected the Epstein files. I realize this is a topic that I could go on and on and on about, as many of us have right now. And it seems interesting that people on both the left and the right seem to agree on this one thing, that dodging the release, or, not just dodging, I should say, lying about, deflecting, and brushing it under the rug is one of the biggest red flags that you can have. So you're going to tell me, like, this list, whoever the fuck is on it, I don't care which side they're on, they need to be exposed, and they need to be... everyone needs to know. It needs to be fucking transparent. And if King Trump is on there, well, then guess what? He gets to go down with the ship, and so does his cabinet. I don't care whatever quote unquote leftist or Democrat is on there. If it's someone that we are very familiar with and we respect, guess what? Not anymore. Throw them away. I don't care. I don't fucking care who is on there. They need to be exposed. It is the world's biggest blackmail list. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason all of this has happened. There's a reason you hear the Epstein name all the time. There's a reason why it is such a big fucking deal, because powerful people that sit in the White House, that sit in all of these major political offices, people that pull the strings, people that adjust inflation, these people that essentially broker the entire country, the economy, globally too. It's not just here. These people are on that list, and that's why they are lying about it. Now, I realize this just kind of stemmed off from the initial topic, but what I'm trying to say here is these are the real life supervillains. These are the villains. That's the side of history they're on. So these people who are blindly supporting them, and like, no matter what is said or done on the right side, you have these Christian nationalists, okay, that enable all of it. They have no morals. You claim you want to be like Christ? You claim to be Christian? Now, let me tell you, one of the best people in my life, personally, this is a personal story, one of the best human beings on the planet that I know, a very, very dear friend of mine, he's Christian, and I'm the furthest thing from it. We have been friends for almost our entire fucking lives. That's almost 30 years we have known each other. And all I do is learn from him, and he learns from me. You know? And that right there is an example of that it doesn't matter. Like, these horrible people use Christianity to justify their bigotry. How can you possibly think for a second that somebody as woke, and I'm going to say that again, somebody as woke as Jesus Christ himself would condone your bigotry? You want to talk religion? Why do you think Jesus died? Why do you think he tried to absolve humanity of its sins? What do you think the sins were? You guys fucking claim that You want to be like Jesus. You want to be like Jesus. Well, these fucking right-wingers are not like Jesus. They're like Pontius Pilate, stabbing Christ with the spear of destiny. That's who they are. You want to talk fucking hypocrisy and religion? There you go. All right? I have no patience for this shit anymore. I'm fucking sick of it. I'm fucking sick of these people going on and there's all this dehumanization relentlessly, and these people gaslight so hard that you see these ICE raids. You see these people getting ripped off the street, stolen from their family, stolen from their parents, taken away from their jobs, getting thrown into fucking concentration camps. If you see that shit and you're okay with it, you're part of the fucking problem. And I wish you the worst. I do not wish you well. I wish with every ounce of my being that the worst case scenario befalls you. You personally. Which, mind you, I'm speaking to the adversary right now, not you folks listening. I love all of you. Don't even think that any of that was directed to my audience. No fucking way. I love all of you guys that come here and hang out, and you know, being as someone who grew up, or you know, my birth year is 1990. So I lived through the 90s when we had such incredible cartoons, such incredible stories. You know, I remember all of the media that we had grown up with, at least, okay, you know, a reasonable amount. I don't remember everything because I'm pushing 35 and that was 1990. So, but a lot of the same media, like, for instance, the X-Men, right? One of the best 90s cartoons ever. One of the wokest stories, period. Now, I remember as a kid, and, you know, it simply is that the people hunting the mutants, you're not supposed to sympathize with them. There's a reason Magneto is so rebellious. There's a reason he's so angry. Magneto and Charles Xavier stand for the same thing, but the difference is Charles wants peace. He wants a beautiful coexistence, and I do not blame him. That is how things should be. But Magneto can't just sit back, or doesn't just sit back and watch the mutants, his people that he protects and loves, get abused and taken advantage of. Killed outright. He wants to do something about it. You know, like when I was a kid, I was definitely Team Charles, you know, like the X-Men itself, you know, peaceful coexistence, let's all hold hands and get along. And, you know, honestly, really at the core, that is what I want. That is still what I want. It would be really nice if we could all fucking just work together as a society, have your own individual beliefs. If you want to be a bigot, if you want to be that way, and you keep it to your fucking self, sure, you do you, all right? Whatever goes on in your house, it isn't anyone else's concern, and that should be a mutual thing. You know, just because I'm trans, there are people that hate me. I don't even fucking know. I've never met them. I've never had a conversation with them. I mean, hell, for all we know, we may actually have a lot in common. As far as movies, TV, video games, like comic books, like whatever. But because of that bigotry, there could be no coexistence. Once these people develop their blind hatred, their need to attack each other, that bloodlust, it's over. There's no way that they can change. And if they do, and some people can. Some people can. So some people at their core, I believe, have just been misled. You know, like I've seen people that I grew up with, some of the most tolerant leftist people, just fall into this hole. Go from being the coolest, the chillest motherfucker that you'd take long night drives with, preach nothing but, I mean, I guess what I used to call it back then was hippie shit, but about love and togetherness and how, you know, humanity is going to make it. We're going to get through this. It's going to take a lot of really good people to put their own egos on the back burner and look out for everyone. You know, like those are the types of things that we used to talk about back in the day. And it breaks my heart because these people that I adored so much just turned into these monsters. These horrible, horrible monsters. And I'm not just saying that, oh, you know, they leaned conservative, you know, like, no, these people turned into dangerous extremists. And when I say people can change, you know, I only hope that there's still a shred of that person I used to know still in there. And someday, you know, maybe we'll talk again. Chances are we won't. But who knows? You know, life is incredibly unpredictable. Or rather, what I used to say is that it is predictably unpredictable. It's a paradox, but to me, that makes perfect sense. So, regarding back to superheroes, I really wish I had as much faith in people as Batman does. You know, Batman and Superman. You know, like Batman will not kill. No matter how many times he has to stop the Joker, he's not going to kill him. Because they both represent a part of each other. I strongly believe that the Joker sees himself in Batman in a way that it almost, like, if the Joker chose to be good, he could be like Batman, and if Batman chose to be a villain, he could be like the Joker. They're the perfect yin and yang story. And Batman has faith in him. And honestly, the Joker has faith in Batman to always do the right thing. They don't hate each other. If anything, it is a bromance that they can never conquer. It's a bromance that, like, they really do want to get along. You know, like there's been so many times throughout the different runs, throughout the show, throughout movies, through whatever you name it. Somehow, some way, they, like, especially the animated series, which is my personal favorite Batman superhero media ever. The Batman the Animated Series is, I think, what really started making me as a kid analyze the human condition. And I took that with me throughout my life. So just studying different aspects of behaviors, mental illness, whatever you want to call it. Just, like, each supervillain represents part of the human condition. So, you know, you have the Joker, who is just completely mentally unstable, mental illness. He is a broken person. And depending on what origin story, because there are several different ones, but my personal favorite origin story of the Joker, and maybe this is a hot take, is Joaquin Phoenix's. Now, I'm not going to talk about the sequel because it wasn't my jam, which is sad. But that's a different story. But as far as the Joker as a character, a humanized character, just being someone who wanted to spread blissful joy and spread happiness and wonder to people, believing that he was put here on this earth to do just that. Like, that's his purpose, his goal, his drive. But being broken by the world, someone so sensitive and so defeated. The world kicked him down over and over and over and over again, and he was being abused as a kid and growing up and still being abused and made fun of and harassed and turned into a loner who developed severe mental illness. Finally breaks. That's a very important story that needs to be told. There are so many people. The world isn't meant for everyone. Not everybody is capable of playing this game. You're forced to. You're from a young age. You just put in line. You have all this stuff crammed into your head. You're molded. You're forced to fit in. And I guess that really is where the topic of free will can get brought up, because like where does that come in? If you've been conditioned and thrown into a bottle your whole life, and you're forced to conform, pick a team, and then that's it. You're on your own. Like, that life ain't for everyone. And it's sad, and this is where a massive unspoken issue comes in of people. Like, could be homeless people, it could be your neighbor, it could be one of your best friends and you don't even know it, that they're struggling so hard to smile every day, to show up and do their worldly goals for 8 hours and go home and try to recuperate before they wake up and do it all again the next day. That can break a person. And that can break them hard. And anyone with that pull yourself up by your bootstrap mentality, like, if that works for you, excellent. I'm happy for you. I am. But it doesn't work for everyone. To discredit someone's struggles, to discredit the pain that they might be going through and what they might be feeling, that ain't right. It just simply isn't right. People who often appear the happiest, they may be struggling more than you know. And people who just want to bring joy and laughter to the world are often the ones that lack it the most. And that's why they want to spread it. That's why I've always gone with the handle that I have. I like making people laugh. I really do. It's one of the things that gives me life. If I can make somebody just laugh a little bit, then I have done my daily duty. And the older I get and struggle and see the world for what it is, It's heartbreaking. This is not the life I thought it was going to be. Growing up, I had such incredible optimism for what the future holds, for what seeing the world really, really meant. I just had all these different ideas of what I was going to be when I grew up, or how society was going to be, the technology we were going to have. And it turns out that's all it is. The technology gets a little better from time to time, but the people never change. We've been living among these supervillains, just stagnating for so long. These people that would throw you in a concentration camp at a moment's notice just because the orange man on TV says so. Where's the free will in that? That's just indoctrination. Look, for me personally, I have never flaunted a piece of political propaganda. Sure, I usually vote blue. I don't have a single piece of memorabilia of any of these politicians. None of them. I have the I voted sticker from, the elections. I tend to just kind of set those aside because it's like, hey, look, I did a thing, But that's it. The election isn't about the politician. The election isn't about really anything else other than the people, as it should be. This is a celebrity shit show that's happening right now. He doesn't give a shit about the country. He gives a shit about himself, and anyone who thinks otherwise is fucking dead wrong. End of story. You're wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's just it comes at a really big fucking price. I love how these right-wingers get so sick and tired of hearing Nazi Germany, but dude, the parallels are all there. Every single one of them. And if you can't see that and you still support what's going on, you're part of the problem. You're on Team Lex Luthor while we're with the rest of the Justice League trying to do the right thing. And again, it blows my mind that these people get mad when a superhero is quote unquote too woke. What does that even mean? They're trying, a superhero itself exists for the sole purpose of trying to get you to do better. Look at Captain America. Captain America would never side with MAGA. Never. I don't care if that upsets you. I don't care. It means you do not know the source material. You do not know the character. And that's on you. It's totally on you. I love Captain America. I think he is one of the best Marvel superheroes ever written. I would stand with Captain America in a heartbeat. I do stand with Captain America as an archetype. I love my country. I love where I grew up, how I grew up. We didn't have much. It was a struggle, a financial struggle. I never lived in a big house. I never, that there's no nepotism. To build the life I have, it took nothing but hard work and dedication and building good relationships and being a good person. That's what it took. Now, sure, you have all these Nepo babies that get everything ass handed to them, and then they grow up to be spoiled rotten. Like, the dictator who's cosplaying the president right now sitting in the White House. You think somebody like that understands hard work? Do you think somebody like that has ever actually worked an honest day in their life? Do you think fucking Mango Mussolini has ever even picked up a vacuum cleaner? Dude literally takes dumps in a golden toilet, and you think for a second he represents the working class. What a fucking joke. I had such hopes and dreams that humanity was going to ascend higher than they've ever been, just almost on like a Star Trek-esque level of tolerance. Working together, I'd even had a dream of human expansion into space, like almost like Star Trek and Mass Effect and Star Wars, like that's always what I wanted to see in the future. And with all the various medias about like, space exploration and travel, like I thought we were gonna maybe even, well, not necessarily see it in our lifetime, but see like the first stages, like maybe even getting people on Mars or back to the moon, just something to give people that spark of hope. But that spark is gone. That is, everything is just moving backwards. If we had hoped to see anything like that during our lifetime, it has been stomped the fuck out. And who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I would like to be. I really would. That's fine if I'm wrong. If something like that changes, and that's all I want to see before my time is up in life. Something to give you a spark of hope to be like, wow, this wasn't all for nothing, And I'm not talking about any kind of spirituality or afterlife. I don't really believe in any of that stuff. But again, I could be wrong. And I would like to be. Like for the same reason that I really wish things like ghosts and ghouls and goblins were real. I've said that before a couple of times, but it's true. I really do wish that all of those things were real. I wish there was some more mysticism to life. I wish that people would treat each other better. I also wish fucking Santa Claus was real. So, every day you just got to put on your mask. You got to smile. You got to smile big, because the world around you wants to eat you, wants to destroy you. There are people proactively working on destroying your life. And for no other reason than bigotry, justified by their religious convictions and nationalism. They want to uproot your very existence just because they don't like you. This is basic. This is like the most basic of human behaviors. This like tribalistic mentality of, this is my people, I don't like those people, I want to hurt those people. It's a tale as old as time itself, as far as, humanity goes. How are we never going to be better than this? How long is this going to go on for? If that's the case, then maybe humans should never expand into space. Maybe we shouldn't have contact with aliens. Maybe we shouldn't ever expand. We should never leave the Earth, because then we're just spreading humanity's cancer. You know, like it was Stephen Hawking who had said that, you know, chances are if we ever made first contact with aliens and they came here, and it could be like Columbus with the Native Americans, you know, which is a very fair example. That's true. It could. But what if it's also vice versa? What if the aliens come here thinking like, hey, this place seems aight. But guess what? We're not. You know, I mean, obviously, I guess it goes without saying where that could lead. You know, humans always have a knack for attacking and destroying the things they don't understand. And the modern world is no exception. So that's why stories like Superman's or Batman or Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Hulk, you know, like, they're there to give you hope. That's why they exist. It's not just because they're cool. And I mean, sure, they sure as hell are, but, you know, they're meant to inspire. They're meant to make you want to do something. Do something, you know, for the world. Be a part of something that's bigger than yourself. You know, like they've always been woke. They will always be woke. You know, like they're meant to be symbols of what people can be, what they should be. And instead, you know, you see all this horrible, horrible things happening in the world. The genocide going on over in Gaza. It's disgusting. What's happening to these kids? What's happening to these families? And just the blind, bigoted hatred that fuels the war machine. When you label a group of people as an object to be disposed of, as opposed to interpreting them as breathing humans, like how the Israeli police or the Israeli military just sees any Palestinian as a terrorist. What the fuck, man? Like, it just blows my mind. I had stayed up one night, and I guess, you know, it's my fault for doing it, but it was necessary, and I was just watching raw footage of the atrocities happening over there, and I was left speechless, and I couldn't look away, because to me, it's just something that I can scroll on by, you know, from Instagram Reels or TikTok, whatever. Like, I can just, next, you know, while I'm laying in my bed. But to these people, they don't even have a bed to lie on. It makes me sick. It makes me fucking sick to my stomach. And if it's woke to say that I don't think people should be blowing each other up, that we shouldn't be killing small kids and kidnapping people off the street, if that's woke, well, then I am as woke as it fucking gets. And that means, if you like all of that shit, you are a Nazi then. You are just a soulless machine of the war effort. You're not a soldier for anything. Soldiers die for something. They die protecting their country. These people are self-destructing, especially here in the States. The amount of civil unrest. This is not the way things should be. Why is it so hard to accept that people are different, but everybody needs to go to work and everybody has the same basic needs and likes the same stuff? Like we all enjoy the same forms of media, video games, books. We all go to the gym. We all watch our diets. We all breathe the same air. We all just want a home to go to at the end of our long days. A place to call your own, a place to put your head at the end of every night and just clock out, rest, recover. But not everybody wants that for each other. And I don't understand how. I don't understand why. And I'm happy I don't. Because that means I'm not part of the fucking problem. It means I give a shit. So, back to the initial point of the entire vent session, entire episode, that superheroes are fucking woke. If that bothers you, then I got nothing. Because you're never going to see a superhero story with a MAGA ideology, because that would no longer be a superhero. That would be a fucking villain. And nobody wants to fucking see that. Whether you want to think that they do or not, or whether you'd go see it, go for it. But it's not going to fucking happen. So, this is your host signing off. Wishing you all the best. Wishing you all so much love and with the hope that we're all going to get through this. This is a trying time. It's bubbling over in every aspect of our lives, no matter where you go, no matter where you look. You can't even just check your phone without seeing some of it somewhere. Just some of this blind bigotry and hatred bubbling over, pouring out of your screen. Whether you're just thinking about it in passing, or you're at work and you hear a coworker say something, or you hear a patient say something, or it's everywhere right now. And I really wish things were boring. I really wish life was boring. Boring would be good. Sadly, it's not very boring. But no matter where you are or what you're doing right now, I wish you the best. I wish you the strength to keep going. Don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up. You've gotta outlive your enemies. You can say that with a chuckle. You can say that with a straight face. It's the truth. Live to fight another day and keep fighting. Your story is not over yet. My story's not over. To me, that's important. It means there's still a chance to get through this. As long as you keep breathing, as long as you keep going to work, you keep doing your thing, you keep reading books, you keep playing your video games, you keep taking care of your loved ones. That's what they can't take away. They will never be able to take that away from you, no matter what. So here's to hoping that we have a brighter future tomorrow, Here's to hoping that we all got a little bit of Superman in us. We got Batman, we got X-Men, the Fantastic Four, that these stories have changed us for the better. Let's hope they're not just some money-making monopoly. Let's hope that these stories have motivated us for decades now to do the right thing. Because right now is that time. Right now is the time to do the right thing. We are on the precipice of collapse. So now you got to ask yourself, where do you see yourself? Where do you stand? Which is why I encourage everyone to be as outspoken and loud as possible. Make your own podcast. Go for it. I encourage you to do it. I will listen to it. If you do, and you drop the link right here in this comment, in the comments, or on one of my social medias, I'm there. I will binge every episode. I'll give you feedback, and I'll do it because I like you. But I encourage you to be as loud, outspoken, bang your chest if you have to, scream into the aether. Don't give up. Captain America would not want you to give up. Superman would not want you to give up. Batman would pick you up, stand you right back up and brush you off. And I'm here to try to tell you to do the same. Never give up and never surrender. I wish you all the best. I'll touch base with you all again soon, so have an amazing day. Get out there and go see Superman. I love y'all. Bye-bye.